Imagine waking up in a secluded paradise in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, where the heat of the sun kisses your skin. The sea has the color of your dreams and, most unbelievable, you are seen as something other than a simple visitor. In Nauru, a small country almost forgotten by the world, there is a reality that seems to have come out of a movie. Here, the foreigner, especially outsiders, is greeted with a kind of reverence that can be hard to believe. Perhaps you have never heard of Nauru, a tiny country with just over 10,000 inhabitants, where everything works in an almost surreal way. It is not a famous tourist destination, but keeps in its silence one of the greatest secrets of life in the Pacific, and the most curious. What for many would be only a lost island on the map, for others turns into a life experience that borders the unbelievable. And we are not just talking about paradisiacal landscapes or the peace of being away from the chaos of big cities. In Nauru, social relations take an unexpected turn. Local women, driven by historical, cultural, and social factors, often see the foreigner with a look that mixes admiration, hope, and desire for connection with something that represents the new. But why does this happen? How exactly does this hidden reality in the heart of the Pacific work? And is this king's treatment really as magical as it sounds? Or is there a price behind this devotion? Stay with me until the end, because what you will find out about Nauru will stir your head. If this type of content holds you, makes you reflect, or even dream, take the opportunity to subscribe to the channel now, like this video, and leave your comment saying what drew your attention. And of course, activate the bell not to miss the next insane destinations that I will show you. And take a look at the links there in the description. There are things there that have nothing to do with Nauru, but can open doors you don't even imagine. Nauru, a paradise where you're more than a visitor. It's hard to believe that there is still a place where the simple fact of being outside puts you in an almost mythical position. In Nauru, this is a reality. This small island in the Pacific, with a little more than 20 square kilometers, houses a population that barely exceeds 10,000 inhabitants. But the human warmth you feel when you arrive is equivalent to that of an entire city. There, the presence of a foreigner is an event, something worthy of attention, curiosity, and often genuine admiration. The geographical isolation contributed to Nauru developing a very close relationship with what comes from outside. For decades, the island has lived through ups and downs, being extremely rich at the height of phosphate exploration, then plunging into economic difficulties. This trajectory has left deep marks, but it also shaped a people that values human connections intensely. The difference in cultural expectations creates a fertile field for intense relationships. While the foreigner often arrives, looking for a quiet and uncommitted experience, local residents see it as a door to a larger world, a universe of possibilities. This disparity of perspectives makes the interactions powerful. Emotionally charged, women, especially, are affectionate, present, and willing to share their culture openly. And it is precisely this intensity that makes Nauru so different from any other destination. Here, you don't just visit, you are noticed, welcomed, and celebrated. The feeling of becoming someone special, to be seen with curious and passionate eyes, touches deeply the ego and the heart. It's a kind of experience you don't find in big cities, where you're just one more in the crowd. In Nauru, you're unique, you're remembered, you are treated as someone who matters. The silent power of the women of Nauru. One of the first things that surprises in Nauru is the silent and imposing presence of women. In a culture where the family structure is traditionally matrilineal, they are not just mothers or wives. They are the true guardians of the land, traditions, and future. The inheritance passes through female hands, and with it, the symbolic and practical power of continuity. Every decision that involves property, family union, or community direction passes, in some way, by the attentive and firm gaze of a woman. This creates a society where the role of women goes far beyond what many visitors are accustomed to. Nauru women are natural leaders, even if often in silence. They observe before they act, analyze before they surrender. When they approach a visitor, they do not do so only out of superficial curiosity. They see in it a reflection of opportunities, experiences that can enrich their own history. And this exchange, when it happens, is deep, intense, and real. This cultural dynamism gives relationships between local women and visitors an unexpected depth. Contrary to what many may think, their interest is not based on dependence, but on a form of mutual recognition. They offer what is most valuable: care, time, attention, affection, and they expect, often unconsciously, to be seen, recognized, and valued in return. The visitor, in this context, can become an almost mythical figure, not for what he has materially, but for what he represents: the different, the possible, the beyond. In experiencing this, the foreigner is faced with a rare reality, to be admired by the simple fact of existing there. In Nauru, this special treatment is not the result of manipulation or artifice, but of the legitimate and emotionally charged cultural dynamics of a people who have learned to love what is rare. And for them, you are rare. The other side of paradise. Beauty with open wounds. Not everything in Nauru is idyllic. The island's history is marked by ephemeral wealth and an inevitable collapse. During the 20th century, Nauru was one of the world's richest countries in GDP per capita thanks to intense phosphate mining. But this model was unsustainable. Over time, the soil was devastated, the resource ran out, and the economy collapsed. An interior landscape that resembles an open wound, with craters, heaps of stones, and environmental scars visible to this day. These scars are not only visual. The population lives with high rates of diseases such as diabetes and obesity, a result of decades of food based on imported industrialized products. The health system, limited, faces difficulties to deal with these demands. Despite this, the community ties still sustain an affective support network that surprises visitors. Solidarity between neighbors and families is one of the pillars that keeps Nauru on its feet. Another controversial factor is the island's involvement in an agreement with Australia to house refugee detention centers. This brought income, but also tension, both internal and external. The camps are isolated, surrounded by criticism from human rights organizations, and provoke debates about the identity and values that Nauru wants to preserve. For such a small country, every government decision has an immense impact on the collective perception, both internally and internationally. Yet, amidst all these challenges, Nauru reinvents itself. There are local efforts to invest in education, sustainable tourism, and a return to fishing and community farming. It is a silent struggle, daily, made by a people that not only wants to survive, but to dream again. And it is in this contrast between beauty and pain, abundance and scarcity, that the true soul of Nauru reveals itself, complex, strong, and incredibly human. When fate chooses you, the silent transformation arriving in Nauru is like crossing a portal to a forgotten time. The island forces you to slow down, to strip away the armor of modernity, to look people in the eye and, perhaps for the first time in a long time, really listen. Here, you don't run, you feel. Every conversation has weight. Every gesture has intention, and it transforms, no matter how long you stay. Nauru marks you. It is in this environment of pause and depth that many relationships arise. The constant closeness, the lack of distractions, the raw honesty of interactions, all contribute to a real emotional connection. When a woman from Nauru approaches you, there is no play, there is presence, there is surrender. And for those who come from a world where everything is superficial and immediate, this is overwhelming. It is at this point that many visitors understand what it is, in fact, to be treated as a god, not by veneration, but by total and unconditional attention. This experience is not just a journey, but a mirror. Many men who pass through Nauru come back different, calmer, more aware, more attentive to the value of simple things. The island serves as a reminder that affection, respect, and attention are valuable currencies that the world outside has often forgotten to use, and realizing this is a rare gift. In the end, Nauru leaves a strange void, a nostalgia that has no name, not for its landscapes, although they are beautiful, but for the people, by the connections, by how you felt there. Because in Nauru, you're not just seen, you're remembered. And in this world of forgetfulness, it is worth more than gold. After all we have seen, it is clear that Nauru is much more than a forgotten point on the map. It is an extreme reflection of human contradictions, a paradise that has become a prison, a place where foreigners are treated like kings while locals face the ghosts of past choices. In every corner of this tiny island, there are stories that mix exoticism, decadence, and a strange kind of reverence that is not found anywhere else on the planet. Nauru is not only a curious destination, it is a mirror of what happens when sudden wealth meets unpreparedness. And yet, as paradoxical as it may seem, there is something captivating about Nauru. Perhaps it is the fact that despite everything, people continue to live there. They continue smiling, dreaming, searching for meaning, even when the world seems to have forgotten them. This contrast between the worship offered to visitors and the harsh reality of residents invites us to reflect. To what extent is the value we receive linked to where we come from? Nauru, with its almost divine hospitality to outsiders, exposes profound truths about desire, illusion, and identity. And if this story touched you in any way, aroused your curiosity, made you wonder, or even imagine how it would be to be treated like a god on a lost island, then you have already experienced some of the impact that Nauru can cause. And it is exactly this type of content that we bring here. If you are not yet part of this journey, this is the moment. Subscribe to the channel, enjoy the video, and comment below what surprised you most about Nauru. And activate the bell. And before you leave, take a look at the links in the description. There is something there that can open doors and turn key in your mind. I'm not going to spoil it, but I guarantee it's worth the click. Maybe the next step is there, right under the video, just waiting for you to find out.